Effective Living offers life management group coaching. This is a great introductory option for those who are ready for guidance to structure your life in such a way where there is a harmonious balance between having enthusiasm for what you need to do, coupled with fulfillment of doing what you want to do. Join our group coaching program today to start creating a life you don't need to take a vacation from. More information about our group coaching program can be found at www.ricardomiller.com.
Hey, welcome back to the next segment. We're excited about this. You know, the other one was you get preachers talking, they'll be on there all day, so you might not have a chance to get a little break, but stretch out because we want you to be excited about this next speaker. We're talking about money, and I'm excited about the next speaker that's coming up, and she has a long great history of everything she does, but I just want to point out some great things about Lakeisha Rolle. She has a bachelor's in business administration, and she has founded her own company, the Financial Academy. She has some great information that she wants to share with you, so I'm going to bring her in because I have my pencil and paper ready. Even as adults, we need to know about this. So good. Hello. How are you?
Hi there. I am great. Thank you so much.
I feel so good talking to you because you know I'm usually in the Bahamas coming with Pastor Ricardo. So to have all the Bahama people watching us and having you, I feel like I'm there. So thank you. We're excited about your segment. I'm ready for you.
Yes.
All righty. So it's on you, and we're great to hear what you have to say.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for that introduction. It's a pleasure to be here, everyone. I love talking personal finance, especially when it comes to children, teens, and young adults. That's my target audience. So I'm excited and I'm grateful for this opportunity to share with you guys. Now, first thing, if you don't have a pen and paper, you need to grab that right quick. I'm going to give you 30 seconds because you need to write these things down. I'm telling you, I'm going to be dropping some nuggets that will get you thinking about life, change your outlook about money. So you want to be paying attention. So for those of you who are on, let me just see if, okay. So just as a startup icebreaker to get you thinking about some stuff. Are you excited about making money? What are your career plans? How much money do you want to make? And what do you plan to do with this money in the future? So how do you connect with money? How are you connecting with it now? How do you want to connect with it later? All right. So this afternoon, I will be sharing 4 points that will help you to not only make that money, but to also manage that money and manage that money well. There's a difference between management and good management. And so before we talk about money, we have to give an overview of financial literacy. How do you manage that money? How do you be responsible? Why is that important? So everybody wants to make money, but everyone doesn't know how to manage money. And unfortunately, making a lot of money does not translate into knowing how to manage it well. So it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. If you don't know what to do with that, then you're always going to be losing, okay? And we're talking about living life effectively, all right? We're not just living life. We're living life effectively. So managing money is where it's at. And if you lack those money management skills, then your income will never be able to sustain you no matter what. Your ability to manage money can either make or break your financial future. This is how crucial this is. So let me start off with 2 basic definitions of financial literacy. The first definition, according to the Center for Financial Inclusion, financial literacy is the combination of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and ultimately behaviors that translate into sound financial decisions and appropriate use of financial services. And I'm going to dig a little deeper into that. The second definition comes from the National Financial Educative Council. And this says that financial literacy is all about possessing the skills, knowledge, attitudes, all these things about financial matters to confidently take effective action that best fulfills an individual's personal, family, and global community goals. So basically right here, we can see that financial literacy is basically just a fancy term for how to make sensible choices with your money. It's nothing more than that. All right. And in a nutshell, we can see that the way you manage your money not only affects you as the user, but it also affects those around you. So when you think about managing money, making money, how does this impact everyone around me? One bad move can set you back for decades, especially when it comes to money management. So money management is something that is very important. Money management is more important than making money. All right? You have a lot of quote unquote rich people who are broke because of the money personalities that they adopt, because they may want to keep it with a certain type of lifestyle. Money may mean everything to them, but they know absolutely nothing about management. All right? So stay with me, guys. I hope you have your pen and your paper. So I also want to speak about some benefits of financial literacy. So why are all these things important? The first benefit, it gives you the ability to achieve financial independence. Who wants to be borrowing from family members, friends, or financial institutions for the rest of their life? Absolutely no one. All right. So the first thing is you have that ability to achieve financial independence. And we're thinking far into the future. So regardless of how old you are right now, as long as you manage your money properly, you will be able to achieve that level of financial independence well into the future. The second thing is financial literacy provides the ability to obtain financial security. We are still in a global pandemic. Last year, I'm pretty sure everybody knows somebody who lost their job. Now, the thing with that is, if you lost your job and you had no savings, no emergency fund, no investments, nothing put aside, then you found yourself in a hole. That's just the reality of it. All right? So especially during times when emergencies happen, things happen that we don't anticipate, we didn't see it coming, we won't be caught off guard as much because we have that backing. We have that knowledge about financial literacy, and we're able to remain financially secure, if only for a few months or up to 1 year, but it's still better than having nothing set aside. The third thing is financial literacy provides the ability to enable you to maintain a desired lifestyle. So when I'm talking about far into the future, let's go to retirement. All right, let's go to age 60 or 65, or if you want to retire at 50, let's go all the way there. All right, so when you retire, you have a source of income. You don't have $0. You may not have something, you may not be working the job that you were working before you retired, but that does not mean that you don't have money. So this is where financial security comes in again, and you're able to maintain the same type of lifestyle that you did when you were employed. All of this goes back to financial literacy. Financial literacy also helps you to distinguish the difference between your needs and your wants. Financial literacy helps you to understand that everything is not important. It helps you to understand how to prioritize, how to make good money choices. And that has to do with creating a budget first. So creating that budget, and we're going to speak about that later on, helps you to learn how to manage your expenses. Another thing is it helps you to understand the future impacts of your current financial situation. So we're going to be talking about the future a lot, because everything that has to do with your financial future has to do with the choices that you're making today. So whatever type of financial future it is that you want for yourself or for your future family, that has to do with what are you doing today, even if you don't have a family as yet. And I'm going to show you just how that works. And the last thing I have for this particular point is it helps you to control your finances and your financial situation. So this is the perfect way for you to remain in control of your money. Who is spending your money? You. Who are making these choices? You. Who are enabling these habits? You. Who has the power to make a difference? You. So everything has to do with you when it has to do with your finances. So everything, the ball is in your court, guys. The ball is in your court. Now, that was just an overview of financial literacy and some of its benefits. So I just laid a foundation so you understand how financial literacy helps you now and how it definitely is going to help you in the future. Now, let's get to the meat of the topic. Money management, make that money. So I'll be breaking down how to make and manage money using something that I call the 4 Ps. So if you have those notepads, if you have your phones that you're taking notes on, the first P that you're going to write down is plan. 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 when it comes to planning, you have to plan to make money before you could plan to manage money. Oh, sorry, I said that the wrong way. You have to plan to manage money before you can plan how you're going to make that money. So even though you don't have a job right now, that does not mean that it's not important for you to learn about how to make good money choices. Because you don't want to wait until you do get a job, until you are getting money in your in the bank, and it looks nice and you just want to do everything with it because you feel like you're rich, like you're making it. So no, everything starts with money management, basic skills. So you have to plan, create a plan of action. What are you going to do? When you're thinking about making money, how do you want to make money? What kind of job is it that you want to have? What are you good at? And we'll talk about that in another point as well. What are you planning for financially? Have you ever set a financial goal? Are you saving for anything? Have you ever thought about saving? So as teenagers, you get a lot of money from your parents. You interact with money on a daily basis, if not daily, at least twice or three times a week. And when it comes to that, you have to know, what is it am I going to do with this money? If your parents give you $10 for lunch, you have to create a plan. How are you going to spend this $10? Hopefully you don't spend your $10 all before lunchtime and you have nothing left. So that's why creating a plan is so important. What financial goals are you setting? Similar to that plan, what is it that you want to do with that $10? You may want to save some of that $10. You may want to spread it across 2 or 3 days. What are your goals? What are you doing with that money? Hopefully you are saving some of it, all right? Another thing is start planning. Even let's think about college. We may have some people on here who are going to college in maybe a few months or 2 years, 1 year. So when you're thinking about the money that you may be saving up, how much money is it that you are saving up toward college, certain expenses, maybe your plane ticket, or you want to rent an apartment to decorate your dorm? All of these things have to do with planning. So if you're getting that money now and you are putting it aside somewhere, what are your plans for this money? Another thing is, when I spoke about retirement, we may have some older persons, we may have some young adults on here, some adults. Plan for retirement early. So even when you first get a job, you may be 18, 19, 20. Planning for retirement early is the best thing that you can ever do. Do not wait until you feel as if you're getting up there in age to start saving some money, because it's not going to play out like you think it's going to. You can't wait until too late to start planning. You have to start planning early, okay? So even though retirement may seem like something for old people or something that older people do, no, it's something that you start doing in your 20s. When I got my first job, I started saving for retirement that instant. So my retirement fund is actually growing right now, and that's going to be growing until I'm in that retirement stage. And then, as I spoke about before, maintaining that desired lifestyle, I'll be able to maintain the lifestyle or a better lifestyle that I'm living right now, even after I retire, because I would still have money to pull from. All right. So plan as early as possible for whatever it is that you want to do in life. Planning is very important. You have to plan to make that money, and you also have to plan to manage that money and to be responsible with that. The second P that I want to talk about is prepare. Preparation, super important, goes hand in hand with planning. So I want to speak a little bit about budgeting right now. The first thing is, when you're creating a budget, it's important that you know how much money you have coming in. I spoke about that $10 that you may have coming in for lunch. So believe it or not, that is actually a source of income for you. Even though you may not have a job, you still have a source of something coming in. So that $10 is income. So when you're creating a budget, you're going to say, okay, I have income. That's the first thing at the top of my budget. Now, the second part of your budget, you have expenses. What are those expenses? Remember, I asked you, what are you doing with your money? Are you saving it? Are you buying something break time, lunchtime, after school, putting something toward college? So all of these would be considered your expenses. Are you putting something aside for tithes? Are you putting aside something for offering? Are you putting something aside for charitable donations? What is it that you are doing? What is in your budget? And a budget doesn't have to be something that is complicated. It's something that's super simple. You're literally only writing down what you have coming in and what you have going out. And it helps you to do something called allocate or organize your money. We're speaking about living effectively here. So you don't want to just get money and throw it anywhere. You want to know exactly where your money is going. How are you managing this money? You're making it. Now, what are you doing with it? And a budget is a plan or a roadmap that tells your money where it's going. So your money is not in control of you. You are in control of your money. Remember, I said that you are in control. You are making these choices. What is in your budget? Make sure that your budget covers everything that you have to spend. You don't want to leave stuff out of your budget because you're going to find that you don't have enough money to cover something, or so you're going to overspend. So make sure when you are creating that small, simple budget, you have all of the expenses in there that you want to take care of immediately, right now. So think about everything that you need to spend money on and put a number next to it. It doesn't matter how small it is. It can be $10 for top up for your cell phone, $20, $30 for a plan, whatever have you. You need to write that and include that in your budget because you know if you can afford it. That's another thing. A budget helps you to see what you're able to afford. If you're only making $10, you know you can't get top up for $20 because that's not a part of the budget this time. Now, if you have saving as a part of your budget and you consistently put something toward that, you can decide that, okay, I now have some extra money I saved, so now I can get top up for $20. All right, so this is how you plan. Plan exactly what you're going to do with your money so you remain in control as much as possible. Another thing, I spoke about saving. You want to learn how to save consistently. Another thing, no matter how small that savings amount is, you want to start now. If you don't start somewhere, you'll never get anywhere. So I like to tell persons about small savings challenges. Savings challenges helps you to be consistent with saving, even if it's a small amount. $1, you'll be surprised how far that can grow. We're not talking about interest today, but compounding interest is fantastic. It looks like magic. It's not magic, but it just helps you to show the power of earning interest on your money, starting as low as a penny. All right, and that's even saving for as low as 1 year, for as little as 1 year. So simple challenge I'm going to throw there for you teens on the line. There's something called the 52-week savings challenge. If you want to learn more about it, you can research it or you can reach out to me and I can explain that for you. Very simple. What this challenge does is every week during the year, you put in a different set of money. Every week, so depending on whatever number week it is in the year. So week 1, you'll put in $1. Week 2, you'll put in $2. Week 3, you'll put in $3. Week 52, you'll put in $52. All right. And what that does is it helps you to develop a habit of saving consistently. You have to become disciplined when it comes to this money management thing. You can't just start something today, stop tomorrow, and expect to have this lump sum in the bank. It doesn't work that way. So consistency is key. So when it comes to this 52-week savings challenge, at the end of the year, if you're consistent with saving a certain amount of money every week, you can literally end up with about $1,400 at the end of the year. $1,400 is a lot when you're first starting off, but of course, as you become more consistent, as you get older, you can save more in that 52 weeks. You can double up on whatever it is that you want and create a plan that works for you. So that goes back to planning. This is preparation. So savings challenges are a good way to start small, especially if you are still a teen. Also, open a bank account if you don't have one. So, ask your parents to say, hey, I need to start putting money somewhere so I'm not able to touch it as quickly as if it was in my drawer or under my bed or in the closet or something like that. All right. So the first thing you want to do is open a bank account. When you create that savings challenge, what you're going to do is maybe at the end of every week or every other week, you're going to go to the bank and you want to deposit that money. All right. So that is how you develop that habit, and you now have your money in a safe place, and you're also planning for it, and you're also gaining interest. So your money is now working for you. All right. So that's, you're in control of what you're doing with your money. So budget frequently, stick to your budget, be honest about the expenses you have, create a small savings challenge, learn how to save consistently. And another thing is establish an emergency fund for the older teens, young adults out there. So I spoke about that a little bit in the beginning. So an emergency fund helps you to be prepared in the event of an unexpected occurrence. So what it does is it helps you to have a little bit of cushion, a little bit of backing in the event that you don't have that consistent source of money flowing in if you were working your 9-to-5 job or if you had that side hustle going and something was to happen to that. So an emergency fund is also an important aspect of preparation. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I would rather be prepared if something happens than to not be prepared. And I have to be scrapping around, going from this place to that place, trying to find something when I know I could have done it myself. All right. So that's a habit, or that's something that you want to establish as well. As you get older, you start to develop something called an emergency fund. Point number 3, the third P is possess. So we did planning, preparation, now possession. So in this category, we are talking about using the things that God has given us to survive. So believe it or not, everybody has gifts, talents, abilities, unique abilities. No matter how many people are doing the same thing, if God gave that to you, that is an opportunity for you to make some money. All right? So here goes making money again. All right? So this is your opportunity to now sit down, write down, what am I good at? What do I help people with? What takes very little effort for me to be successful? And how can I use my hands to make money for myself, for my family? All right? So this requires some reflection. So you definitely want to set aside some quiet time if you're not sure of what you may be good at. Just go talk to God. Say, okay, God, I just want to know, what is it that you put inside of me? What am I here for? What's my purpose? And out of that, you would find that there are so many things that he wants to say to you. But you have to take that time to go ahead. You have to set aside that quiet time to learn and to listen. Listen to what he is saying. What has he placed you on earth for? What is your point of impact? And how can you monetize this? So talents, wisdom, knowledge, gifts, abilities. Another thing is additional sources of income. So don't just rely on one source of income. So, maybe your parents or your grandparents, you may only hear about them doing one or two things for their entire life. But we as young people, there are so many things that we want to do, and we are afraid to do it. But you have to learn how to, like I said again, listen. What is it that you are good at? What are those additional income streams that you can put to use? You can't be scared. You can't be shy. You have to just go out there and possess it. So God gave us that ability. All right. So don't be afraid to find out what it is that he wants you to do, and how is it that you can make some extra money. And also on top of that, I spoke a little bit about investments. So investments, that's a way to use to earn additional sources of income. I spoke about interest. So that's where you're able to earn money as well. So you have the bank accounts, you have fixed deposits, you have mutual funds, you also have additional income stream stuff that you can do on the side, whether you are great at writing, editing, proofreading. You can go ahead and hop on a blog. You can edit if you're good at videos, taking pictures, anything like that. And you'll find that is how you're able to achieve an additional source of income. Even something as simple on the weekends as helping out the people in the community, your neighbors, mowing their lawn, cleaning their windows, doing some painting, helping them to put up some lights for the holidays, maybe wrapping gifts for Christmas. So all of these are additional sources of income that you can potentially look at as the holiday season is also coming up. So that's something that you could also do. So look at there, see what it is that you're able to do, and go after it. And another thing is protect. So the last P is protect. So this may be just a little bit advanced, but this information is still something that you need because as persons begin to approach you about other ways that you can make money, you want to make sure that these ways are actually safe. So how are you protecting the money that you are earning? And this has to do with money management. So protection. So there are something called power questions that I like people to sit down and ask themselves about a product or an idea, a good or a service, before they go ahead and jump into it. So I said that you need to sit down and think. Thinking, meditating, very important. Before, when someone presents to you an idea to make money, if someone says, okay, I open up this business, I have these products that you can invest in, it's going to make a lot of money, but you're not sure about what it is, you have to sit down and think about that. that may be skeptical. That's risky. So while life is about taking risks, you have to be sensible about it. Remember, we going back to our definition of financial literacy. You possessing the skills, the knowledge, the attitudes to confidently take effective action and to make sensible choices. So this is where protection comes in those 4 power questions. So the first question that you should ask somebody is the product right for you? So whatever it is that they are offering you, whatever this good idea is that's glittering, whatever it is that sounds so good, is this right for you? It may be right for them, but is it right for you? Ask as many questions as you can. Find out as much about the product as you can before you go into it. If you're not comfortable with something, don't put your money into it. Don't matter who the person is, if you're not comfortable, do not put your money into this. You want to be sure, you want to be comfortable that you are making a good choice with your money. Another thing is ask about how this particular thing has been performing over time. You know, people like to make these promises and they end up being empty promises and you get no returns from your investment. You reap no fruit. You put this sum of money down, you join this partnership with your friends, and you see nothing out of it. Your friend may be making money, but you don't see anything coming out of it. So what's up with the promise behind that? How is it doing? If this is a new product that you're going to sell, for example, are you sure it's going to make money? Did you do any market research? Are you really comfortable with this? How are you managing this money? Because the money that you're putting up, you had to get it from somewhere. All right? You don't want to make those poor financial choices. Another thing is ask if you can get your money back if you're no longer interested. So that's important. When it comes to money management, you want to make sure that you have as much protection or as much of a buffer as possible in the event that something was to happen, something was to take a hit. How much money can you get back? The person may say, well, you really can't get anything back. This was non-refundable, X, Y, and Z. So you want to ask those questions. Then again, it goes back to your comfort level. You also have to know how much risk you're able to take. Some people generally don't want to take any risk. They don't want to do anything with their money unless it's safe. That's called persons who are conservative. They just want to make sure that, okay, my money is here. It's always going to be here. Nothing's going to happen to it. Nothing's going to change. That's me. I'm good. Then you have persons who want to take a little bit of risk with their money. So by doing that, you have to make sure that, okay, I may have some losses. I may have some losses out there, but I'm fine. I can deal with that. That's all right. And then you have persons who want to take a lot of risk. Now, if that's you, you have to be prepared financially to take risk before you take that risk. All right. So you have to be prepared to take a hit in the event that something happens. I spoke about that savings and that emergency fund. So before you go and invest all your money into this nice business idea or product launch or whatever have you, you have to know how much risk is involved in this and if you're really up for this. Can you imagine you put, let's say, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 into something because you expect to make more money, but you didn't manage that well, you didn't think that process through, nothing worked out, you have the products here but nobody wants to buy it, and you're just looking at it every day, it's just stacking up, that you're not managing your money wisely. You didn't make a good investment decision. All right? You didn't really sit down, think about that definition of financial literacy to see how this is going to affect your financial future. And I spoke about that earlier as well. So financial literacy is all about, or it helps you to think about your current financial choices and how it's going to affect your future financial abilities. And remember I said one bad money move can throw you off for decades. All right? So you want to make sure that you're very comfortable with these money moves before you make them. Always seek advice from someone if you're not sure. There's nothing wrong with bouncing an idea off of somebody. Hey, what do you think about this? Should I do this? How much should I put into this just in case I lose it? All right? So that has to do with protecting. So managing your money has to do with protecting your money as well. Is your money in a safe place? Do you know where your money is? How much do you expect to get back from it, if any? All right? Are you willing to take any losses? So that's all about looking at the risk and the benefit of anything that has to do with making money and managing money. Another thing is when it comes to anything dealing with money management or making money, you have to, like I keep saying, you have to be comfortable. Don't do something just because somebody else thinks it's a good idea, because it may not be something that's suitable for you. Always do your research. Always do your homework. It's never a bad thing when you ask questions. All right. So you have to always ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can, because you have to feel comfortable with this decision that you are making. So in order to live life effectively, you have to ask those questions. You have to seek advice, and you have to be careful with anything it is that you go after. So let's just go over the things that we spoke about already. So the first point was planning. If you're taking notes, planning. So you want to create that plan of action, set challenging but realistic financial goals. So know what it is that you want to do with your money. You definitely want to start planning early, whether that is for high school, for college, for retirement, all of those things. It's never too early to start planning. The second thing is preparation. Always create that budget and stick to it. You have to know exactly what you have coming in. I spoke about the example with the $10 for lunch and what you have going out. Are you saving? What is for tithes? What is for offering? What is for charitable donations? What is for break time? What is for lunchtime? So that's as simple as a budget is. Let that guide your financial decisions. Another thing is, I spoke about a savings challenge. To start small, check out the 52-week savings challenge. It's something that you can handle as a teen, where you learn how to contribute a certain amount every week during the year to build up to a certain amount at the end of 52 weeks. If you're a young adult, if you're older into adulthood, you want to learn how to establish that emergency fund, so you have that buffer in the event that something happens that you did not expect. Nobody plans, nobody anticipates an emergency, but we can always plan for it as best as we can. The third thing is possess. Take a look at those gifts, those talents, those abilities, those things that you're very, very good at, the things that come naturally, to see how you can make additional money. All right. So never discount these things. These things are very important, and you will be surprised at the contribution that it can make to your finances, to your bank account, and even to your financial future. Because these things may even be able to sustain you even during a pandemic. So some persons were able to establish businesses that were essential services, and this was a way that they were able to make an additional source of income and still be able to maintain their desired lifestyle, like we spoke about earlier, which is one benefit of financial literacy, and also protection. So questions that you should ask. You want to ask, if this thing is right for you, how much risk is attached to this thing? Can I get any money back? If I made a bad money move, what's in it for me? How far up the creek will I be if something happens that I did not expect? Okay, so make sure that this aligns with your risk level. So that's all a part of protecting your investment and protecting your money and managing it well. Another thing is, so knowing your risk profile, and only make choices that you're comfortable with. So that's very important when it comes to anything in life, but most importantly when it comes to your money, because remember, we're trying to live effectively. We're trying to not only make that money, but we're trying to learn how to manage it and manage it well, because there's a difference. So I would like to leave you with some words of wisdom, some more words of wisdom, or some more nuggets, because I dropped plenty today, and I'm excited to see what questions are going to come forward. And so this quote is actually a personal one, and it says, to change your financial future, you have to control your financial now. And this has to do with learning how to adopt positive money management habits early. If you're not sure about how to do that and you're just figuring things out on your own, you go into life, into adulthood, trying to figure out how to manage money and not really sitting down and learning or listening to a blog, listening to a podcast or reading a blog or what have you, then your financial future will always be in jeopardy. So you want to take advantage of opportunities to learn how to put yourself in a position where your financial future can still be changed, where you can still make positive choices toward getting that financial future that you desire. Also, if you follow the 4 points that we spoke about, those 4 P's, then you'll be well on your way to creating that financial path that'll be able to sustain you, embracing a beautiful financial future, embracing a future filled with financial wellness, financial confidence, financial stability, and definitely financial security. So you want to keep those 4 points in mind, stick that up somewhere if you have to, and hold on to those because your financial future depends on it and it depends on you. Remember, you are in control. Another thing is remember that your financial future can still be broke even if you make money today. So it's not about the amount of money that you are making, it's about how you are managing it. You're a person who make money, they think they're making it in life, they'll be set forever, but they have poor money management habits and they're always borrowing money from someone. And you can't understand why, but this is the reason why. Because they're not choosing to make good financial choices and they're not managing their money well. And it all starts with financial literacy. Financial literacy is for everyone. This is not something for people when they graduate from college and they start working and they're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do with my money now? I just got my first paycheck. Let me go to the bank, get a loan so I could buy a car. No, you have to sit down and think these things through, because now when you go ahead and borrow that money, you have other things that are attached to that, and you may not be ready for that type of financial responsibility as yet. So remember, your financial future can still be broken even if you make money today. Another thing, the amount of money you have does not determine how secure your financial future is. Only your financial habits can determine that. Remember, the amount of money you have now does not determine how secure your financial future is. Only your financial habits can determine that. So think about how you want your financial future to be and backtrack and write down what financial habits do I need to possess in order to reach the financial future that I want for the rest of my life. So go ahead, guys, and get planning, get preparing, start possessing, and remember to protect those investments, protect the hard-earned money that you make while you go ahead out there and, make that money, while you make that hustle. So making money, managing money are two completely different things, but as long as you follow those 4 P's and you understand the benefits of financial literacy, then that will place you in a better financial position. So I hope that you guys took great notes and that you remember the 4 P's that I gave you this afternoon. Like I mentioned earlier, if you lack money management skills, then no matter your source of income or no matter how much income, it will never be able to sustain you. And those 4 P's are the keys to changing your financial future. So guys, now I will take any questions that you guys have in the chat. So I wanted to leave some time for that.
Yeah, I'm glad you are. So put your questions in the chat because that was really good, Miss Lakeisha. Like that was so great. And you know what I love about it? Because we often hear youth talk about making money moves, and a lot of them want to be entrepreneurs. They're not necessarily seeking the traditional jobs that you go to college, you go and you get a career and you make it. They start these entrepreneurships very early, YouTubers and all of that. But if they don't have the management skills, they can have all of that money and not be successful even when they're older. It's like all gone. And so I wanted to talk about just a little bit more about the importance of while you're a youth, maintaining and developing these money management, because if you're living at home, that's the best time to discipline yourself. So when you're out there on your own, you already have that. So can you just emphasize a little bit more about having that discipline as a youth on managing your money?
Right. So I like that question. So the reality is everybody has to grow up. So at some point, you are going to be on your own, or you have to make your own choices, especially when it comes to your money. we have this thing, well, teens, I'm not a teen, so I'm sorry. Teens have this thing where they don't feel that it's important to learn how to manage money because someone else is supporting their current lifestyle. But you have to learn about your future lifestyle. You won't be in this situation forever where someone else is supporting your lifestyle. So you have to learn how to take the necessary steps to be on your own financially, so you know what it is that you have to do. What do I do when I get paid? What is this thing called a budget? Why do I have to create a budget now? I don't even have a job. And I hear teens say it all the time. I don't have to learn how to spend money when my parents doing all these stuff for me. But the reality is, yes, you do. Because one day you are going to have to spend money on yourself. And you have to know, like I mentioned, you have to know what are your needs and what are your wants. This is something common that adults mix up, needless to say teens, because they're not sure. Everything looks good. Everything looks important. But you have to learn how to prioritize those things. If you don't know how to prioritize your expenses, but you know how to manage, but you know how to make money, you still have a problem. So that's why it's important to learn this at an early age, because at some point you have to grow up, you transition into adulthood, and you have to learn how to take care of yourself financially.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Now, can you help define wants and needs? Because as a youth, everything is a need. Like, no, you don't understand, Mom. I need this. And it's not necessarily a need. And then the importance of maybe saving up for that want instead of just spending it all at one time.
Right. So the difference between a need and a want is a need is something that is essential for survival. So it's something that you cannot live without. You can live without nails. You can live without polish. You can live without Xbox, PlayStation. You can live without these things. If these things fall into those categories, then they're not needs. They don't help you to live. They're not necessary. So something in finance, we call the four walls, things that are basic needs for survival. You have food, you have utilities, you have to pay those bills, shelter, whether that's rent or a mortgage, and transportation. And transportation doesn't mean buying a new car or switching it out for something else when something new comes along. It means that you're able to maintain your mode of transportation, or at least put gas in your car to get from point A to point B. So these basic things are needs, and you have to take care of that first. So imagine, let's say you think that happy hour every Friday is a need when it's really not. So you're now confusing entertainment, which is a want, with a need, especially if you didn't budget for it, because that's another story. And you're doing that so often, and you have to now find money to put food in the cupboard because you now paid somebody else for $5 wings and drinks. So you're filling up somebody else's pocket, but now you have nothing in your fridge and your lights are off.
Yeah.
That is the perfect example of the difference between a need and a want. You have to learn, when you think about what's important, what do I need, what is needed in life versus what's desired in life, then that will help you to determine the difference between your need and your want. Is it going to help me stay alive? Is it going to help me pay the bills? Is it going to help me get to work? These are things that are considered as needs.
Yeah, I love that. And can you talk a little bit more about the saving challenges? Because, you know, everyone kind of starts that in the beginning of the year, and it's October, so people will start planning that. But I think that's a really great discipline, especially for young people, if they can learn the discipline of just saving $1 here and increasing it over time, and the benefits of just seeing it, what they've done, you know, accomplishing that goal as a youth, hopefully will help them desire that when they get younger. So can you talk about the saving challenges just a little bit more?
Right. So a savings challenge is a great way to learn how to set something aside and also to develop that habit of discipline and consistency at the same time. So I mentioned the 52-week savings challenge because it's something that's pretty basic. And if someone gets money every day and you're only taking out a small amount every week, that's immaterial. You really won't feel that. But you get the benefit of watching it grow. You're motivated by that. So I like to recommend savings challenges because you get to see how your money is growing and you know exactly where it's going. You don't have to guess, okay, I wonder if I could get that back if I put this over here. Yes, you are, because it's staying right there. And so with savings challenges, I find that it provides people with that extra boost especially if you're doing this along with somebody else, to compete. So make it competitive. So as teens, if you have siblings, or maybe among your parents or your cousins, do that particular challenge, or you guys set a goal. So let's say, okay, everybody, we're going to save $200 within the first 3 months of the quarter or something like that. And every quarter you set a different goal. So that's your unique family savings challenge, and you compete. So right now you're not all about, okay, I'm going to spend this money on this because I need this. No, you're trying to save because now you've entered a challenge. Now you have persons who you're accountable to, and now you have a source of motivation and encouragement to help you with that challenge. So make it fun. It doesn't have to be something boring where you just putting this money aside and you're not seeing it. No, put it in a place actually where everyone can see it. That's what I recommend for families, and everybody can see how the money is growing in your jar, your bottle. So I'm a personal finance teacher, and I just did this savings challenge with my kids. And so everybody has a bottle in the class, and they're putting money in that every single day until for the next 10 weeks to see who's able to save the most money, and they're going to get prizes. So if you put something in one place and you're able to see it, trust me, you're gonna develop the habit of saving in no time, because you want to be at the top. Everybody wants to be at the top, and that's the perfect way to start that. And like I say, you get to develop that habit at the same time, and that grows with you straight into adulthood. So I started just saving a little bit for my my summer job. When I got another job out of high school, and then when I worked in college, and I keep doing that. And every year, every time I make more money, I put more there, and it just develops, and it becomes a habit, and it's like it's in you. So I know that, hey, when I get paid, the first thing that comes out, of course, is my tithes. The second thing, straight off to my savings account. So that's not an issue. So that's why you have to develop that while you are young. Trust me, it's going to pay off.
Thank you, Miss Lakeisha. We thank you for being here all the way from the Bahamas. You gave us some great information for youth and adults, so we thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You guys, that was amazing. We were excited to have her. And guess what? What she just was talking about was goal setting, really. And so you have to set that goal of how much money you want to save. And so that is our next segment. We're excited about that next segment. So go get you something to drink, stretch a little bit, get your little snacks, and then come back and get ready for the next session that we're going to have on goal setting. We'll see you later.